this house. We gotta finish this crown molding up on these. It's a basement kitchen, half kitchen. I don't know if that's a thing, half kitchen. Has a fridge, garbage can, stuff like that, sink. They're gonna put a microwave, but there's no oven, no dishwasher. But anyway, we gotta put that crown up there. Not that many pieces, shouldn't take that long. Let's get to it. One thing I like to do is I test fitted the piece to make sure it would work. But before I put these pieces up, I like to glue the two joints here, and then I'll attach them with brad nails, and then I'll put them up as a unit. So that way then this seam is nice and clean looking, and everything just kind of fits better. Alright, so those two pieces are up. I gotta measure for the third and the fourth, join them together, or go cut them, join them together, and then put those pieces up. The way that I cut my crown molding is I think backwards and upside down. Some people can do like micro angles and cut it normally, right side up. But it's hard to remember those angles, so I just simply flip it upside down, and then I cut it backwards, and then I just use the technique of inside, outside, left or right. It makes it super easy. Before I'm ready, or before I start cutting my crown, I always make sure my angles are correct there, and then I just think about 45, 22 and a half. I just think through things, and then I'll cut a piece, and I'll just keep trimming it until it's perfect. You don't want to overcut it, then have to restart. I've done that many times, so you just have to have patience, and you just have to go slow. Another thing that we have to do is put this filler board on the other side of the fridge there. There's a big gap. So we need to screw that in by opening that door, screwing in from the cabinet into this, and then we can finish our crown over on that side. Super important that you pre-drill, because these face frames, they're a hardwood, which is good for durability, but they can crack out. So you gotta use pre-drill, and you gotta use the right type of cabinet drill screw. The cabinet screws we always use are GRK. They're like a panhead cabinet screws. They have a good cutter, so they grip into the material really easily. They're super strong, super sturdy, and they have a good bit. Just everything about them, the fit, even kind of the look, everything just looks good. They look professional. So those are the ones we always use. So I have the 3 holes pre-drilled there. We're using just the GRK trim head screws on these. Since they're going into the face frame, they're a little bit smaller, so they look better. But now I gotta hold the filler up. That's right there. Put it into that gap right there. And then screw it in. Ended up taking that door off, keeping the hinges on so that way the placement of the door is still correct. We will have to level all these doors, so it wouldn't really matter, but I just took it off so I can get in here a lot easier. All right, so that filler is in now. Sturdy, looks good. Now we can put the door back on and the crown. All right, all the crown's done. It's looking good. Filler border's in. We need to level all the doors. And then putty, caulk, and touch up the crown. But it's installed now. The next thing that we're doing is we're just taking all these doors off, taking all the hardware off the doors. Then we're just gonna hand paint them. Some of the doors we're going to leave on the hinges because we're replacing all the hinges too into a different color. Right now they're nickel, we're going all black with them. So this door we just had to extend the jamb, so that's why it's off right now. But all the upstairs doors, there's none of this texture, so we sprayed them all. But these doors, it's in a basement and they're all texturized, so we're just going to hand paint them and it'll be perfect. We're going to use like a little whiz roller that won't leave any streaks, and then we're just going to hand paint it in. All these, like the interior decorative area. So let's get to do that. Things I'm doing to make it look better is I'm kind of going with the grain here. Same with the roller, so that way you don't get any like streaks or any unlevelness from the paint. And then we're gonna do 2 coats. There's already a primer coat on there. The first coat, it doesn't need to be heavy, it doesn't need to look good. We can't have runs on it. So, and you want it to semi-cover, but you don't want to put it on too heavy and get runs, because then that's a lot of sanding. The type of paint we're using is just a door and trim paint from Sherwin-Williams. Some people will use this paint on cabinets. Definitely a big no-no. Doesn't dry that hard and it's a tad gummy. We use a paint that dries super hard. It's super thin, but it dries super hard and it can hold up to the grease or the wear and tear of anything. And then we send it through our oven, which just tears everything out, makes it that much better. But this is a good door and trim paint, so it'll work well on this. All the hardware's on the door. We changed out the hinges for black ones. Same thing with the knob. Painted everything. We 3-coated it. Looks good. Closes well. We also got the crown all done. We'll see what we get into tomorrow.